Yo, 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 yo. Hello. It's your resident skeptical, logical guy, person, floating head that glows as I talk, named, called, deconverted man here. There's only one A, but sometimes it sounds like there's multiple A's. This is BitchBot Blog's fault. Yep, it's his fault. He did a video on this guy, and I'm like, oh my word. I gotta see this guy's video. Like, I watched the original video. Oh, it's so bad. It's a year old. Now, usually I try to, like, focus on stuff that's, like, current or whatever. But, whatever. I'll cover it because it's an opportunity to talk a little logic and to you know uh, complain about what this theist is saying, and maybe he'll hear it and revise his thing. I doubt it. Apparently, also Logic responded to this, so it's been responded to. But anyway, so this guy called Jesse Speaks, and the video is called "I Tried to Convince an Atheist That God Exists." Now, you might think that the method of doing this would be like, I don't know, show empirical evidence, or offer a repeatable test, or give a valid and sound argument. You might think that, but you'd be wrong. Because he doesn't do that at all, and not even a little. Oh no, he doesn't have any of that. Now you might think, oh, at least he's going to give an argument. I mean, apologists give arguments, right? Nope, he doesn't give an argument either. No, it's great. He offers literally nothing. Let's check it out, shall we?
As an atheist, do you question God all the time? And if you won't be honest with me, at least your algorithm will be, because this is the video for you. So now that I have your attention, I want to be very careful with it and share something with you. First off, I'm a Christian, and I'm going to talk to you about God. And you don't have to believe in any of this whatsoever. In fact, God gives you the choice to believe in him or not. So let's
All right, so we've heard this claim before. I say we. I've heard it before. Maybe you have as well. You are given a choice to believe or not. That is not how belief works. You are compelled to believe in something by your sensory input and your past experiences. These things shape your belief. You have no choice but to think that something is real when you see it, at least to some degree, again, based on your previous experiences. So you might partake in some drugs, which I wouldn't recommend, and you might know based on previous experience that if you partake on these certain drugs or alcohol or what have you, that you might experience some hallucinogenic effects. And so that during that time, you will not experience reality as it really is, but a distorted version of it. So if you then see angelic beings, you know that they're part of your trip. They're part of your hallucinogenic experience, and they're not really real. However, if you've never done drugs or alcohol or what have you, and you have no prior experience, you might not know what to expect. And so you should be very, very careful and only do things that are within the law to do. But at any rate, and if you're going to do anything at all, be very careful. And, I advise against it. I like my brain as it is. That's just me, though. But you do you. If all of a sudden you saw something quite unexpected that is different from your usual experience, well, you might think that you've hallucinated, or that you're dreaming, or that you have lost your mind, or you might not know what it is that you're seeing, but you internally don't really have a choice but to believe that you think that you're seeing it
at the very least. Whether you're actually seeing it, if you can't tell the difference, then there is no difference from your internal perspective, which is then a good occasion to ask people around you, hey, do you see that? And if nobody else sees it but you, then there's something wrong going on, more than likely. So if you see something and it's legitimately there and other people can also see it, there is no choice but to believe that that thing is there. You couldn't just decide that you don't see a vending machine once you've seen a vending machine, for example. Hey, look, it's a vending machine. It's got sodas. It's got snacks. Do you see that vending machine? Yes, I do. Okay, well, look, we don't have a choice but to believe in it. You don't have a choice but to believe that I'm a human, because other animals cannot talk like humans can. Well, AI now can, but but you can't just decide to believe that I'm a lobster, because lobsters do not speak the human language. And so it would be impossible for you to decide to believe I'm a lobster. You can't just decide to believe in aliens that have visited Earth. Now, maybe you believe that aliens have visited Earth, and that belief is due to things that you have read or seen or experienced or other beliefs, but it is not something that can be verified by other people in a critical manner, but it can be verified in a social manner, that you can find people that are like-minded, that also think that aliens have visited Earth. But if you go to examine if aliens have visited Earth, you will not find any evidence. But if you wanted to stop believing that aliens visited Earth, you couldn't just decide to do that. It wouldn't be an instantaneous thing that you could do. You'd have to reason yourself out of that belief slowly and over time. Similarly, you cannot just decide instantly to believe in something. You need some reason to believe in it. I made a video called The Challenge, which I would challenge anyone to respond to, especially this guy. Do you believe that it's true? Well, you have a choice. You can believe or not. No, you don't have a choice. If you're not presented with empirical evidence, a repeatable test, a sound argument, or some other reason to believe, then you will not believe. It is not a choice. There is no choice to be made. This is a lie. It is not true.
Let's just cut the small talk. Have you honestly ever asked God to just show himself to you? Don't get mad at me for that. It's just a question. And if not,
why should that matter? My asking or not asking anything to reveal itself assumes already a lot about reality. But if I've never heard of God, then why would I ever do that? And there are people that have never heard about God. There's not that many, but they exist. There are tribes that have no concept of God and have never had that been encountered. So they would not have occasion to ask that question. Why does it matter that I need to ask this question? If there's a God thing, why wouldn't it just be obvious? Why would I have to ask it to reveal itself? Why wouldn't it just be something that is there and obviously there? How do I know I can ask it anything at all in the first place? How do I know that it can hear my request? How do I know that it can respond to my request? I do not. These are all claims that you have made the moment you said this question. You're assuming that it can hear me. You're assuming that it can respond. You're assuming that it will respond based on what? And why is it up to me to do that rather than up to it to do the presenting to me? This is a lot of assumptions that are missing from this question that you've asked.
God, I just ask you to be honest with yourself, your own existence as a human being. You're probably super smart, very analytical, and you know what's going on in the world today. Because
Well, have you ever asked if Laud exists? Now, be honest with yourself. Have you asked if Laud exists? And if not, why not? Why haven't you asked? Well, because you've never heard of Laud. Well, now you have. And there happens to be a book called The Lobsterist. And you can read it, or you can listen to it being read on Captive Discs channel. And, well, will you read that or listen to it? No? Why not? What are you afraid of? Why don't you try? Why don't you try and see if it's true? Because it's a waste of time and energy. I have no reason to believe that it's true. I have no reason to think that anything will respond to me. But this is a primer. Have you tried this? No, I haven't. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in trying this. I'm interested in only what are the facts. That's what I'm interested in.
because you love information. Believe it or not, I do too, even being a Christian. I'm just trying to build a bridge with you.
You don't. Not really. You might think that you do, but you really don't. You want to appear that you love information, but the information that you will avoid is that you are wrong.
Have you ever just looked up into the night sky and you were just like, God, where are you? If you
No, I don't think I've done that. And why would it matter? If I have or haven't done it, I don't know. Why would it matter? In fact, I don't need to use myself as an example. I have others that have done this. Langston Hughes in his essay Salvation, and The Ill Mind of Hopkins 7 also paints a portrait of a man crying out to God and hearing no response. So it seems that other people have attempted to do this and gotten no answer. Why should I think that I will get an answer?
you're real, reveal yourself to me. Or maybe you're on the calmer aspect and you're kind of like, all right, God, if you're real, let's see what the big hype's about. Whichever.
Yeah, so I've done this several times on live stream. Multiple times in multiple different ways. I have challenged and asked politely, very politely, I think, God to reveal itself. Not just to me, though, because I would not be okay with that. I need God to reveal itself to more than just myself. That way I can be sure that I have not lost my mind. So here we go. Okay. All right, God. This guy's saying that I'm supposed to say, hey, God, do you exist? But that's not enough for me. I need to know that, Okay, so God, he just say that word out loud. Here's a stuffed lobster, and I don't know if you can knock it out of my hand or if you can make it levitate, but if you can do that, then please do that. And then I know that there's a God. Nothing. So my conclusion is God didn't hear that or couldn't perform the task that I asked it of it. These are all negative conclusions. The test that I've run has produced a null and void answer. Now, I can knock the lobster out of my hand. I can't levitate it, but I can certainly pick it up. But this God doesn't seem to be able or willing to do that. Make it, come on. There, I can make it fall down. But this God apparently can't do anything to demonstrate that it is there at all. And certainly it doesn't speak out loud. And that would be a good way to know that it's real, would just be to say hi. So, hey, God, say hi. And it doesn't say hi. So I guess it can't say hi, and or it can't hear me, and or it doesn't want to respond, and or it can't respond. All of these observations are negative ones and not positive ones. They are not resulting in a response as you suggested that, or you implied that I should get a response if I do this. But of course, there is a safety mechanism built into this. Listen to what he says next.
Whatever type of atheist you are, the truth is you're looking for truth, right? And if you've never done that, then you're actually being dishonest to yourself, because that means that you've never checked all the boxes to get to the point of actually asking the right questions. And you've
See, ask the right questions. How do you know what the right questions are?
agreed to the lack of effort in finding God to begin with, which in
Again, why does it matter if I've put any effort at all into finding God? This assumes there is a God to find. Why is it up to me to look in the first place? Why should I spend any time or energy doing that? Why should anybody? But we'll get to the bit here that reveals the deeper conflict here, the deeper problem.
in this case, you probably never even made it to this part of the video, because if not, then that means you're being completely dishonest to your whole existence. And that wouldn't really be fair to, well, anybody, especially you. What I'm trying to say is you should try. Otherwise, you'll never know. Then you would want to put yourself in the position to ask these questions. And I'm trying to let you know that I've asked those questions, that I let my guard down. I became vulnerable to the idea of God. And it was the greatest thing that I've ever done in my life.
Okay, so here's the safety mechanism built into this. You have to ask in a certain way with a certain receptiveness. And so he can claim that even though I've asked this sincerely, that wasn't receptive enough. I didn't ask the right question. I didn't do it in the right way. I wasn't in the right mindset. And this is what the believer will do to justify why there is a null response from their chosen deity. You're saying to people, ask if it exists. They do. There's no response. And that should be the end of it. But there's more to it, because then you add additional elements to that you think, oh, well, see, it's not just that they're asking for it. They have to be open and receptive to it. Why should that be? And he's going to add some more things that you have to do. Check this out.
You have to ask God wholeheartedly. You can't have ego. You can't have pride. The situation might even look like you're just sitting on the floor looking up at your popcorn ceiling in your room, and you're just like, God, I don't really believe in you. But if you are real, can you show me that you're real, and show me in a way that I myself could never deny it? And to be honest with ourselves at this point, we're going to give God the benefit of the doubt that he is doing something. At this point,
okay, so he outlined certain parameters that have to be in place. You have to be in your room looking up at your ceiling, which doesn't have popcorn on it. I know what he's talking about, though. But why? Why do I have to be in my bedroom? Can I be in this room? No, I have to be, I have to be honest and sincere and all these things. And so if, again, my little demonstration of, hey, God, levitate this off my hand, that wouldn't be sincere. That wouldn't be honest. That wouldn't be, genuine or something. That's what he would say. Absolutely no doubt in my mind, if he was going to respond to this video, which he won't, because he didn't respond to the other videos responses that he got, as far as I know. He's not, he is saying, hey, look for this thing, look for this thing, look for this thing, and do it in a certain way. And if you didn't find it, well, then you didn't do it just right. You didn't try it hard enough. You didn't tilt your head enough. Yeah. No. Because it's not about actually finding reality. It's about breaking your mind, is what it's really about. It's about trying to wish this is real. That's all this is. It's a psychological trick to manipulate you into a belief, not to show that the thing is something that is real at all. And it works on anything. Hey, just think about Laud. Really say, hey, Laud, do you exist? Um, oh, did you feel something? Then Laud must, that little feeling that you felt, that was Laud. Oh, you felt something? Oh, that was Laud. Oh, did you feel bored? Did you feel excited? Did you feel anything? That was Laud. Oh, now Laud exists. Oh, look for the patterns of Laud in your world. Anything that looks like claws, looks like a lobster. Anytime you see a lobster, in fact, whether it's a stuffed lobster, fake lobster, real lobster, anything that says lobster, anything starting with L, that's all a sign that Laud has heard your request to reveal itself to you. Hallelujah. It's pure manipulation. It is not proof of anything at all. All he's saying is to manipulate your own brain to fooling itself. That's what he's telling people to do. What nonsense.
I want you to pay attention to all the little coincidences that are going to begin to manifest in your life.
And there you have it. Look for patterns. We humans are really good at pattern seeking. Oh, look, pattern, pattern, pattern. Look at this, look at this. Oh, look, 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 pattern, pattern, pattern. Oh, that must mean God, God, God. Or it must mean Laud, or it must be magical leprechauns. Yeah. Or maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it doesn't mean anything even a little bit. In fact, why just look for them? Yeah, go ahead and document. But here's the thing. Also document the non-answer too. Here's the problem. You're looking for something to happen. Okay, but when? There's no time frame. So at some point something will happen. But what? Also, what is it that I'm looking for to happen? And it is whatever I expect to happen or desire to happen or want to happen. And I'm looking for that instant. But it is never something demonstrably demonstrated. Like, here's a. Let's see if I can aim this thing right. Oh, probably not. There we go. Okay. This little scar that I've had on my arm for a long, 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 long time. Now, everyone that is a believer in God, go ahead and pray that this thing goes away. Pray as hard as you want, as much as you want. Devote as much time and energy as you want to praying that. And you know what? It's not going anywhere. Isn't that odd? Now, maybe you've noticed that I'm missing some teeth, and you've been kind enough not to mention that. Thank you. The reason is not relevant and doesn't matter, but you know what? Go ahead and add that to the prayer too. Pray that God restores my missing teeth, regrows them, in fact. That's something that would be great. That would prove God to me. But no matter how hard you pray, how long you pray, how sincere you pray, how many people pray, we could have people from around the world, everybody in the entire world could pray at the same time for this scar to heal and or my teeth to regrow, and neither of those would happen at all, ever, no matter how much energy and time we spent on prayer asking for it. No matter how sincere we were, no matter what sacrifices we made, no matter what we offered up to the gods, the prayer would go unanswered. That means to say the answer would be no every time. And hey, regrow somebody's limb. God doesn't do that either, apparently. It only does things that your body can do on its own. It can help you find your car keys, but only if you look. It can get you a job, but only if you look. It can help you with recovery from some addiction, but only if you really want to recover from that addiction. And also, it isn't really doing anything. You're the one doing the thing. You're the one trying to change your life, find different people to hang out with, a different situation to be in, etc. That's it. It's all you. There isn't a thing that is doing that other than you. And if there was, then we could heal scars, we could regrow teeth and limbs. We wouldn't have to do heart transplants because we just pray that a heart instantly grows in the person and or that their heart heals, and we wouldn't have to do complicated surgeries on people because we could just pray for them and they'd get better. If prayer yielded this result, and that's what he's asking you to do by asking God if it exists, this is a prayer. Prayer does not manifest in that way at all. And there have been multiple metadata studies, which is a metadata study is a study of studies, that show that intercessory prayer asking God to do stuff, has no discernible effect at all. And one study was even negative in its finding. It was like it made people worse, not better. But that's probably because they told them they were getting prayed for. But for the most part, it's all been what we'd expect from chance, which is nothing. There's no significant difference between people prayed for and people not prayed for in regards to health and healing, at least not when it's done by somebody else and that person is not aware of it. If the person's aware of it, that tends to change the results because it could be positive or it could be negative, placebo or non-placebo effect that is happening. So, but when we do the controlled conditions and we do the proper testing, nothing, over and over again. And as many times as I've asked God to levitate lobsters off of my hand or my head, it has not done that. And I'm always careful because I don't just say knock it off my head or hand because, well, maybe I would make it fall and I'd be like, oh, that's something. No, I want legitimate confirmation, not just for myself, mind you, but that can be confirmed by other people because that's what matters. What he is telling people to do, what he's instructing people to do, is to disregard critical thinking, disregard analysis, disregard reason, disregard logic, disregard science, and just ask for this thing to reveal itself and then look for things that seem like it's God doing stuff. No. I'm not playing hide and seek. I'm not interested in that. If this thing that's called God is so interested in me, then it already knows what it would take to convince me, and it can just show up and say hi. But it would have to say hi to the entire world at the same time in a way that we wouldn't misunderstand it. Then it wouldn't just be me that believes, it would be everybody. But it's interesting then, because if that was the case, and you could see evidence of God, and you knew it was God somehow, then you wouldn't really have a choice to believe or not believe in it. You would be compelled to believe in it by virtue of the evidence that you see for it. So his first statement, again, that it's a choice, is a lie. If God reveals itself, it's not a lie, or it's not true anymore. You don't have a choice. If God doesn't reveal itself, you still don't have a choice. So the whole choice thing is completely irrelevant. Okay? I just want to hammer that home because lots of apologists like to say that belief is a choice. No, it isn't, nor is non-belief. And I had that discussion just a while ago with that other guy, Apex Mind guy. I was like, no, you can't just believe that I'm a lobster. Oh, yes, I can. I'm like, go ahead, do it. And I knew he couldn't do it. And I was like, no, you're not being honest. It's not something that can be done. That's not how brains work. And telling people to do pattern seeking, again, with no discernible goal, with no set thing that you're looking for, is from now until you die, keep asking and looking for these whatever. And then if you get no answer, well, then what? Well, he can sit back knowing that it's fine for his belief because you didn't try hard enough. You didn't do it sincerely enough. You didn't really mean it. You weren't humble enough, or whatever internal excuse he's going to give. Because we know there's example after example after example of people that have tried this and gotten nothing from doing it, and they give up. Because why would you keep trying? This non-relationship with this non-deity is the most one-sided relationship. Parasocial is the word. It's the ultimate in parasocial relationships ever. But unlike real relationships, even real parasocial relationships, you might be able to get somebody to notice you and respond, even a famous celebrity. But with this parasocial relationship, you will never, ever, ever, ever get a out loud evidential response that can be measured, quantified, and seen by anybody but you. This is utter nonsense and tripe. It doesn't convince the atheist, and it shouldn't convince anybody else ever of anything. This isn't how to find out what's true. It's how to trick yourself into believing. Be skeptical, people. And that's it. I'm done with this. I'm not going to keep. There's no more to say. He doesn't offer any evidence, any test, any method, anything at all, other than try it. Well, I'll tell you what. You do my challenge, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a video I made called The Challenge, and it's on my channel. And you can just try that. You just do that, and I'll link it in the sticky thing below the description, and I'll put it in the sticky comment. And so far, and that by the way, that the challenge has been up for a year now, and nobody has even tried. So I don't know why. Nobody's told me why they won't do it. But nobody's done it, and nobody has tried to do it. Yeah. Well, a few people did actually answer, but yeah. All right, that's it. Until next time, be skeptical, and after next time, stay skeptical, and beware of people that tell you to look for things without telling you what things to look for, because they're not telling you to look for anything, because there isn't anything to find. Also, I was going to mention, if you were going to document the hits of like things that you think are God, you'd also have to mark down all the times that you waited for something to happen, because those are null results. So all the time where you got no answer or no sign also counts. And so the one positive is negated by all those negatives. All right. Be skeptical.